beauty babes. So right now I'm going to be doing a girl talk with you guys about my first time going to the gynecologist. Um, the reason why I want to do this girl talk is because I feel like a lot of women on YouTube do not talk about their first experience of going to the OBGYN. So I was like, I'm gonna be that girl. So before I get started, give this video a fat thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell to always be notified with my videos. Comment what you guys think of this girl talk and let me know if you guys do want to see more girl talks because I really enjoy doing these. And yeah, let's get this started. I want to make a disclaimer before I start talking about my experience with the gynecologist, OBGYN, whatever you want to call it. I want to make a disclaimer. If you guys are young females that are like between the ages of 7 and 10, click out of this video because this video is obviously not for you. But if you guys are like teenagers between the ages of 13 and up, if you guys do want to watch this, cool. But if you guys are not interested of knowing my first experience, tips, whatever, how I felt about my first time going, the importance of going, and all of that, just click out of this video because this video is obviously not for you. And if you guys are not comfortable talking about girl stuff like this, then this video is obviously not for you. But the reason why I'm doing this video is because I feel like nobody's ever talked about this on YouTube, and I feel like let me be the first one. So yeah, I just wanted to make that disclaimer because I don't want nobody to feel uncomfortable. I don't want comments down below about feeling uncomfortable or whatever. If you guys have questions, please make sure you comment down below or private message me on my Instagram. My Instagram is always linked down in the description. But let's get started. So I call it the OBGYN. A lot of people call it the gynecologist. There's no difference from it. It's just OBGYN is super short and super simple. But if you guys do not know what a gynecologist is a doctor that checks your vaginal area, which is your cervix, your uterus, all that good stuff. So the reason why they do that is because they check for, like, let's just say PCOS, people that might have an infection, you know, STDs, HIV, whatever the case is. So when I went to the OBGYN, I was 19 and I went in October of last year. So what was last year? 2018. October of last year of 2018, and I was 19 years old. And the only reason why I went so far back in age in the OBGYN, now the OBGYN you can only go at a certain age, like unless you're pregnant, but that like a certain age like is like about 15, 14 years old. That's what I've read, that you could go between the ages of 14 and 15 or 16. But I waited till 19 because honestly, how I felt about going at first is I was very nervous and I was very self-conscious with myself, just because like I personally don't like my body. And what they ask you to do when you first walk in is they ask you to dress from the bottom down and then unclip your bra, but you could leave your bra over and your shirt. So the only reason why they ask you to do that is they literally ask you to, you know, get undressed from the bottom down, and they also check your breast when you go. So when I first went to the OBGYN, I was very self-conscious and nervous, and there was just a lot of mixed emotions going. Like, my heart rate was probably going like 90 miles per hour. Like, I was just so nervous. And I was with my sister Jessica, so like like, I was happy that I had somebody with me, but obviously she didn't come into the room with me because that's very private. So when they called me in, I was nervous. But I was not as nervous as I was as sitting in the waiting room. When they finally called me in, I was like, all right, I feel pretty calm now because this is happening. Amen. So the nurse took me into like this little room and she checked my weight, she checked my blood pressure, she checked my temperature, my height. Yeah, and I think that's it. So my blood pressure when I first went was elevated just because like I was very nervous and she could tell, so she had to do it like 3-4 times and I was just like, I can't control my heart. So I really liked the nurse. She was really sweet. So she took me to my room or whatever and she told me what to do to get dressed from the bottom down and to unclip my bra, and the doctor will be in soon. So I was like, alright. So I was happy that I had my privacy to get undressed or whatever. Now, I personally was so self-conscious, and I know like these doctors probably see thousands and thousands of vaginas in one day, but like I made sure I shaved, I made sure I was looking good, whatever. I was just like so self-conscious, and like they really don't care. They're just checking you just to check you. Like, it doesn't matter if it's pretty, cute, whatever the case is, it doesn't matter. Like, they're looking for if there's an issue or if they see something wrong or just to make sure everything's okay. So when I first went, I was in the room by myself and I was waiting for about 10 minutes and she finally knocked on the door and they give you like this little paper, like it looks like a paper blanket, and they put it over your legs so you're covered up from the bottom down. And then so when I was in the room, I felt content. Like I felt okay. I know I'm gonna be okay. I'm good. Blah 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 blah. So the doctor walked in. She's like, "Hi." She was the sweetest doctor. When I tell you the sweetest, she was the sweetest doctor. She made me feel super comfortable. Like she was like giving me advice. Like don't feel uncomfortable. You know, whatever. So she's like, "I'm gonna check your breast first or whatever." So I was like, okay. So she told me to lift my shirt and she moved my bra, and then she was just feeling if there's lumps because that checks for breast cancer or anything like that. And I was good. And then she's like, okay, now I'm gonna go to the bottom half. And I was like, alright. So she was like really sweet. Like she was just talking to me while she was like doing everything. So I was like pretty distracted. And she's like, alright, lean back, and she makes you put your feet on like these silicone things where it like spreads your legs, and you're just kind of just chilling there. And I was like, wow, you're kind of just laying down and whatever. Like you just forget somebody's like checking you. So she's like, you're gonna feel a little pinch or whatever. So she pretty much swabbed or whatever with a Q-tip, and you know, just to test to see if I have anything wrong or like anything like that. And they ask you a bunch of questions like, oh, are you sexually active, or have you missed your period? Like they just ask you general questions that you should know. So I was like really nervous to say like I am sexually active or whatever. And I don't know why I was nervous because I was the only one in the room, but like that's like putting your whole business out there type of thing. So whatever. And I was happy that she made me feel really comfortable. Like she asked me questions and I told her I didn't get my period for almost 7 months. Like at the time I was dealing with a lot of health issues, like where I didn't get my period for 7 months, the excessive amount of weight gain, and blase blase. So when she swabbed it or whatever, she put it in a container, And then she took me back to the nurse, and the nurse gave me blood work. So I was like, do they do this with everybody? Like, at first I was like thinking to myself, like, do they do this with everybody? And then I thought about it. I was like, maybe she knows something that I don't. Maybe she feels like I have something and whatever. So I was like released. Like, she's like, oh, I have a bucket of condoms. Take as many as you want. Blah, blah, blah. And she was really sweet. She made me feel very comfortable. Like, she wasn't like the type where she looks at you a certain way and like is like, okay. Like, you know that feeling when somebody looks at you a certain way and you just feel automatically uncomfortable. So my tips that I'm going to give you guys for the OBGYN is stay content as possible. Like, you're obviously going to be nervous at first, but try to keep your emotions or whatever the hell you're going through okay, because honestly, just find yourself a really good OBGYN. My tip is to get a female OBGYN. I prefer a female, and I feel most comfortable with a female more than a male. I don't know why, but whatever. If you guys feel more comfortable with a female, then do that. If you feel more comfortable with a male, do that. But I personally prefer a female. Make sure you find somebody that is there to listen, someone that, like, make sure you read reviews before going to the certain OBGYN, because, like, there are some doctors that don't care and, like, won't look further into the things that they might think that's wrong. And my doctor, when I first went, she was, like, very concerned. Like, she was there to listen. Like, she was listening to everything I was telling her, and I was happy about that, because I feel like nobody ever listens, like, when I'm feeling like out of it. So yeah, my other tip is if you are self-conscious and like you very insecure or anything like that, just know that the doctors see bodies, different types of bodies every day, and you know what, at the end of the day, you'll get over your fear. The first time is like the hardest, but after that it's like smooth ride. Honestly, I think I went to the OBGYN around like 4 times now. So when I went back to the OBGYN, she told me I have PCOS. As you guys may know, PCOS is polycystic ovarian cystic polycystic ovarian syndrome. And it's pretty much females that get like weight gain, irregular periods, excessive hair growth. Everybody gets different symptoms. It's normal. It's a thing a lot of women get. If you guys want to know more about PCOS, I'll definitely make a separate video about it. But I was like kind of crushed when I was like kind of crushed and like a little confused and like blank faced when I went back to the OBGYN, and she told me that. I was like, and she's like, oh, do you have any questions? And I'm like, is this bad? Like, is this good? Like, I just didn't know what to say, so I kind of just didn't say anything. And I was like, no. And then I went back to OBGYN, to another one, and then, yeah. So, what else do I gotta say? The reason why OBGYNs are important also is because they check for cervical cancer, they check for things like PCOS, infertility, they check for cyst, they check for if you have abnormal discharge, like too much of discharge. If you guys don't know what that is, you should see it every day. Not trying to really explain that, but you know, things like that they really mainly check for. If they check for STDs, AIDS, whatever the case is. And the reason why they ask you if you're sexually active is because HIV and AIDS are such a high risk with things like that if you're not using protection. So make sure you guys are always using protection if you guys are sexually active, because you'd rather be safe than sorry. But yeah, the OBGYN honestly was a great experience for the first time. Like, I didn't have any problems. The only problem was I was very self-conscious with myself, and I was just overthinking everything and blase blase. But overall, like, my first experience wasn't as bad. And like, when you go somewhere like the doctor, the OBGYN, the dentist, you just overthink like the worst scenarios. um, but yeah. So that was my girl talk for you guys. If you guys have any questions down below, please comment down below, because I really want to hear you guys' questions. And like, if you guys want to direct message me on my Instagram, my link is always in the description. But I hope you guys enjoyed this girl talk, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.